Hello, friends. So we're going to continue reading Charlotte's Web today. We do have Wilbur with us now. He's been with us for a few weeks, but my videos were done a little bit in advance. So he's just now starting to join us during our reading time. I'll try to set him up here. I don't know that he'll stay. He might have to just stay over here. There we go. Wilbur can stay here. All right, so remember, his name is Wilbur, and this is our pig, and he's going to be with us as we read Charlotte's Web. So today we are on Chapter 6, Summer Days. The early summer days on the farm are the happiest and fairest days of the year. Lilacs bloom and make the air sweet and then fade. Apple blossoms come with lilacs, and the bees visit around among the apple trees. The days grow warm and soft. School ends, the children have time to play and fish for trouts in the brook, and Avery often brought home trout in his pocket, warm and stiff, ready to be fried up for supper. Now that school was over, Fern visited the barn almost every day to sit quietly at her stool. The animals treated her as an equal. The sheep lay calm at her feet, and around the 1st of July, the workhorses were hitched to the moving machine, and Mr. Zuckerman climbed into the seat and drove it into the field. All morning you could hear the rattle of the machines as it went round and round while the tall glass fell down behind the Cutter barn in long green swashes. The next day, if there was no thunder shower, all hands would help to rake and pitch and load, and the hay would be hauled to the barn to the high hay wagon, with Fern and Avery riding at the top of the load. Then the hay would be hoisted, sweet and warm, into the big loft until the whole barn seemed to like a wonderful bed of timothy and clover. It was fine to jump in and perfect to hide in, and sometimes Avery would find a little grass snake in the hay, and he would add it to the other things in his pocket. Early summer days are a jubilee time for birds. In the fields, around the house, in the barn, in the woods, in the swamp, everywhere. Love and songs and nests and eggs of birds. From the edge of the woods to the right-throated sparrow, which must come all the way from Boston, calls, "Oh, Peabody, Peabody, Peabody." On an apple, Phoebe teeters and wags his tail and says, "Phoebe, Phoebe." The song sparrow, who knows a brief and lovely life, says, "Sweet, sweet, 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 sweet." If you enter the barn, the swallows swoop down from their nest and scold, "Cheeky, cheeky," they say. In early summer, there are plenty of things for a child to eat and drink and suck and chew. Dandelion stems are full of milk. Clover heads are loaded with nectar. The refrigerator is full of ice-cold drinks. Everywhere you look is life. Even the little ball of spit on the weed stalk. If you poke it apart, it might have green worms inside. And on the other side of the leaf of the potato vine are bright orange eggs of the potato bug. It was on the day early in summer that the goose eggs hatched. This was an important event in the barn cellar. Fern was there, sitting on her stool when it happened. Except for the goose herself, Charlotte was the first to know that the goslings at last had arrived. The goose knew a day in advance that they would be coming. She could hear their weak voices calling from inside the egg. She knew that they were in a desperately cramped position inside the shell, and they were anxious to break through and get out. So she sat quite still and talked less than usual. When the first gosling poked its gray-green head through the goose feathers and looked around, Charlotte spotted it and made an announcement. "I am sure," she said, "that every one of us here will be gratified to learn that after 4 weeks of effort and patience on part of our friend the goose, she has now something to show for it. The goslings have arrived. May I offer my sincere congratulations." "Thank you, thank you, thank you," said the goose, nodding and bowing shamelessly. "Thank you," said the gander. "Congratulations," shouted Wilbur. "How many goslings are there?" "I can only see 1. "There are 7, said the goose. "Fine," said Charlotte. 7 is a lucky number." "Luck had nothing to do with this," said the goose. It was good management and hard work." At this point, Templeton showed his nose through the hiding place under Wilbur's trough. He glanced at Fern and then crept cautiously towards the goose, keeping close to the wall. Everyone watched him, for he was not well liked or trusted. "Look," he began in his sharp voice. "You say you have 7 goslings. There were 8 eggs. What happened to the other egg? Why didn't it hatch?" "It's a dud, I guess," said the goose. What are you going to do with it? Continued Templeton, his round, beady eyes fixed on the goose. You can have it, said the goose. Roll it away and add to that nasty collection of yours. Templeton had a habit of picking up unusual objects around the farm and storing them in his home. He saved everything. Certainly, said the gander. You may have the egg, but I'll tell you one thing, Templeton. If I ever catch you poking your ugly nose around our goslings, I'll give you the worst pounding a rat ever took. And the gander opened his strong wings and beat the air to show his power. He was strong and brave, but the truth is, both the goose and the gander were worried about Templeton. With a good reason. The rat had no morals, no conscience, no consideration, no decency, no milk of rodent kindness, no higher feelings, no friendliness, no anything. He would kill a gosling if he could get away with it, and the goose knew that, and everybody knew that. With her broad bill, the goose pushed the unhatched egg out of her nest, and the entire company watched in disgust while the rat rolled it away. Even Wilbur, who could eat almost anything, was appalled. Imagine wanting a junky old rotten egg, he murmured. A rat is a rat, said Charlotte. She laughed in a tingling little laugh. But my friends, if that ancient egg ever breaks, this barn will be untenable. What does that mean? Asked Wilbur. It means nobody will be able to live here on account of the smell. A rotten egg is usually a regular stink bomb. I won't break it, snarled Templeton. I know what I'm doing. I handle stuff like this all the time. He disappeared into his tunnel, pushing the goose egg in front of him. He pushed and nudged until he succeeded in rolling it to his lair under the trough. That afternoon, when the wind had died down and the barnyard was quiet and warm, the gray goose led the 7 goslings out of the nest and into the world. Mr. Zuckerman spied on them while he came with Wilbur's supper. Well, hello there, he said, smiling all over. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 baby geese. Now, isn't that lovely? All right. That is the end of chapter 6.